Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Konich-Yeehaw podcast. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Jared.
And in this episode, we want to talk about what we are watching this season, winter 2023.
Right.
So, what are we watching?
So let's start off with shows that are continuing from the last season. Blue Lock, for example.
Right. And
Still good.
Still good. We did kind of just talk about these shows in our recent review of last season, so
right.
Not too much has changed. Blue Lock is still good. Main character just won a game, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, Blue Lock is interesting because like instead of like going through an entire arc or an entire season for like a growth arc and learning, it happens in like an episode. In episodes,
yeah. So but that keeps it like kind of fast paced, which is nice. Like I'm already excited to see what the next round will bring. Like now that they're a 3-person team.
And I guess that's kind of the whole point of Blue Lock too, like in lore.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, these rapid decisions are going to like make you better, or you're
show your
out,
weakness,
or you're out. Yeah. So I guess it makes sense lore wise, and I don't know, it keeps things interesting.
It does keep things interesting, yeah.
Next is Urusei Yatsura.
Right.
It's still fun.
It's still fun. That's kind of all that there is to it. We had a sort of baseball episode. Sort of.
Yeah.
The other thing about Urusei Yatsura is, for the most part, the episodes are in, like, they have the format of the 2 episode in one. So, like, 2 stories happen. You know, like, the first 15 minutes is one story, then the next 15 minutes is another story. And maybe they're lightly connected, like the character follow through, like what we had with Ton.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's just like a little sitcom. It's still fun.
Yeah, I mean, we said this I think last episode or maybe before. It's still very 80s.
It's pretty 80s, yeah.
Like, with the characters and how they act and, like, how everything is like, oh, I want to be with you, but you want to be with me. Right. And, like, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, we're still watching it. Haven't dropped it. I mean, it's still fun.
Yeah.
So, just not, like, a 10 out of 10, like, top of the season.
Right, yeah.
And then for me, My Hero Academia Season 6 is still ongoing. And, I mean, it's good. It's My Hero. So, like, Season 6, which, I think I've talked about this before. How, like, the longer a show goes, kind of my interest starts to wane.
Right.
Because depending on the show, the momentum kind of starts to wane as well. There are high points, there are low points, and typically the longer a show goes, the more low points there are gonna be.
Right.
So, like, and with My Hero, like, they really they like ran out of ideas. So, like, it's one of this continual, like, we made the hero stronger, and then we made the villain stronger, and then we made the hero stronger. Right. Okay, this is like mild spoilers, but I mean, basically, if you're not watching My Hero right now, you're not gonna watch it. So
right, yeah.
So, like, whenever it started, the whole idea was that Deku, the main character, has no quirk. And then he gets a quirk from All Might. Like, that's how his quirk works. And then he has to use his own power to overcome the use of the quirk because the quirk is too powerful for him. And that's, like, how the first couple seasons work. Like, he has to figure out how to use his quirk. But then, like, they introduced this thing where actually he has, like, 6 quirks. And, like, he can just kind of use them, like, no problem. Like, and he just kind of, like, is like, okay, I can do it. And it's like, okay. sure.
Yeah, okay.
And it's completely lost the idea of this, like, oh, I have no quirk, yet I'm still strong. And because, like, the main idea of Deku, his whole, what makes him a character, what makes his character, like, him, is that he proved that you can be a hero without a quirk. Right. Like, you can still have the heart of a hero without a quirk. He, like, in the first, like, episode or something, like, tried to save his friend, even though he didn't have a quirk. And that, like, anyone can be a hero. But now it's devolved into, okay, well, now he has all these different powers, and, you know, and it's like, okay, you've lost the point.
Right.
Enough on that, though. Okay. So I didn't know whether I wanted to whether I wanted to say this or not, but, like, these are shows that I dropped.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, or just decided not to watch.
Well, which ones didn't make it?
Yeah, these ones didn't make it. First off, Agretsuko season 5. Another instance of, like, it's been going on so long, or it's season 5.
Season 5, right.
Like, I looked up the plot of it. I don't think it's aired yet.
I don't think it's aired yet either.
But, like, it sounds so stupid. And, like, it's one of those instances of, like, okay, well, we got renewed again. Guess we gotta do something.
Is Arizuko based on a 4-koma or?
It's not. I don't believe.
Okay.
It's like, it's a character that was made up.
Right.
With, like, no comic behind it.
Okay, yeah.
So if I remember correctly, all of the anime is original.
Okay.
And so they're like, we got renewed again.
Yeah, just gotta
do something.
Yeah.
And it's another thing of they've gone so far with it that it's kind of lost the whole, like, original idea. Also, something I'm not watching that you'd think I would is Don't Mess With what is it? Don't Toy With Me, Nagatoro Season 2. This is a very rare thing. And this is the first time this has ever happened to me.
Okay.
So, I'm up to date in the manga. And now I get manga reader, only manga readers. I get it now.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't need to experience it.
You don't need to watch it. Yeah.
I don't need to watch it. Like, they're at a point in the manga where, like, their character development is at a really good place. And I don't want to go back to where they don't have that.
Right, okay.
So, like, I kind of don't want to watch it. Like, even though it would make sense for me to watch it because I really like the manga. But, like, I just don't want to, like, go back to it.
Right, yeah.
And then this one I actually dropped is Nier. So, the Nier anime, it's cool. I think if you want to get the idea of what Nier is, Nier is a video game, and this is an anime adaptation of it. But, like, experiencing it through video game is just superior in, like, every way. And, like, because it's a very cinematic game, like, in how it's a high action game. I think it's made by Platinum, so they also made Bayonetta, and it plays really similarly. And just without so for example, like, there are boss battles that could take, like, 10, 20 minutes to do, but, like, they're over in a couple seconds in the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, like,
the experience isn't
the same. There are also some things that are, like, really slow, so, like, the show's really fast. And there are some parts in the game that are, like, purposefully really slow. And then, like, they're just, like, a couple seconds overlooked in the show. And so it's like, okay, it doesn't hold the same vibe. Let's see. A show that I am going to watch, but haven't yet, is Way of the House Husband Season 2. Right. There are a lot of sequels in this season. Like, this winter 2023,
this winter season,
a lot of sequels.
Did you finish The Way of the House Husband, the first season?
I did.
I didn't know that.
Yep. It's only a couple episodes.
Yeah.
And they're each like 5 minutes each or something like that. My problem with it is the animation style.
Yeah, it's a choice.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I saw that it was actually like the manga writer's choice to do it like that. I don't know if season 2 is done in the same like very probably choppy way, but it probably is.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's still fun. That's another manga that I read that...
Yeah, it's a funny manga. I mean...
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So, on that, shows that we are now watching.
Yes.
Junji Ito Maniac.
Yes.
Before we talk about it, I want to bring up the point of Junji Ito Maniac, Way of the House Husband, and Agretsuko.
Yes.
They're all shows... I think they're all Netflix shows.
Yes, they are.
And they're all released in bulk.
Yes, they are.
Which, personally, I do not like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of that because I like shows that are kind of paced for me.
Yes.
So that, like, I don't have to feel rushed.
Like, to like, watch the content and then talk about it, essentially, right?
Yeah. So, like, for example, I feel like we've watched 3 episodes of Junji Ito.
Yes.
Which is on track with the rest of the shows that are releasing weekly.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I feel like I should already be done with Junji Ito so that I can, like, talk fully about it because it's all released.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And honestly, we will probably finish Junji Ito before the season is over.
Definitely.
Like, completely. Because we're just going to watch an episode here and there. And
yeah.
That's that.
I also think it's bad for, like, publicity or, like marketing to be all released at one time. Because, like, it's a shorter amount of time that you have views for the show.
Yeah, and it's also, like, whenever a big part of, I guess any TV show, really, marketing it as a show that releases weekly is the fans talking about it in between and, like, sharing opinions on what's going to happen. And, I mean, whenever we were watching Chainsaw Man, like, a really big meme was, it's Chainsaw Tuesday, and people would, like, draw the characters, like Power yelling, it's Chainsaw Tuesday, and, like, you know, like, that was part of it, though. Yeah. Was that since it was releasing weekly, everybody got excited for Chainsaw Tuesday. And
right. There's less fan culture around it because it's not there for as long a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, kind of bad on all ends, honestly. Junji Ito Maniac.
Yes, Junji Ito, yes.
What do you think so far?
So far, Junji Ito, the manga writer, who's a real person, writes manga horror stories. Mm-hmm. Some of them are short, some of them are long. I've read some of the shorter ones. I have a book of the shorter ones. And most people probably recognize at least some of his work whenever you see it. So far, it is good. I like it. I do like it. I think it's such like a different... It's so different from like American horror.
It is.
Especially in the sense that nothing is ever answered. The episodes end with more questions. Mm-hmm. The episodes, for me, every episode that we've watched has ended with me asking more questions.
Yeah.
But it's all just really interesting, and it's interesting to see it animated also.
Junji Ito is probably one of the most creative horror writers there are.
Yeah.
Like, the things that he thinks of, that he comes up with, are completely off the wall, and you'd never... Like, episode 3 is an episode... The plot is that there are giant floating heads with...
They're balloons.
Yes. Giant floating balloon heads.
But they're realistic looking.
Yes.
Yeah.
With nooses, connected to the bottom of them, and they come after you to kill you.
Yes, so whichever balloon head looks like you is the one that is searching for you, and it is trying to hang you. And then they all, like, hang in the sky.
Yeah, and that's so wild.
And it's, like, so jarring.
Yeah. Like, what is that?
Yeah, and like I said, the episode ends with more questions. So nothing is Nothing is resolved in that.
Yeah.
Everybody dies. Nobody knows where the balloons came from. Like, that's it. Everybody dies.
Yeah. I can't say much for, like, Japanese horror as a whole, but that is a very Junji Ito style of thing to do, of not really answering anything. So, fun fact, this is actually the second Junji Ito show that's come out. They already did an anthology of, like, some of his more known works.
Right.
And this is technically the second one. So I'm curious to see whether they redo some of them, because it's a different company making it.
Right.
So I already saw some spoilers. The thing is
I saw the title of some of the ones that they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Like and I haven't read all of his work, so
right.
To me, I don't know what's gonna happen in these. I just saw the title. I know that Tomi's gonna be one of them.
Which is another thing is that sometimes he uses reoccurring characters.
Oh, okay.
And so there's a chance that there are characters that you see in this one that you see in other stories, but it could be a different story.
Oh, okay.
It's very rare, but he does have a handful of reoccurring characters.
Okay.
Like Tomi is like an anthology within itself.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's really good.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of horror, check it out. It's really good.
You definitely see some new things.
Yeah, you won't see slasher.
No, it's not.
Not gonna be any slasher flick, you know.
No, it's definitely all like urban legend kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Next is my show, Vinland Saga.
Right.
Season 2. Admittedly, I have been busy, and I have not watched the most recent episodes. So I've only watched one episode. I've only watched one episode of season 2 so far. And so I can't say this for sure. I really hope that they don't keep it the way that they made episode 1. Because episode 1 is through the perspective of a different character and not like the main character of season 1. And I don't really like that.
Okay. Did anything happen to the main character?
No, he was introduced at the very end of the episode.
The main character was introduced at the end of the episode. Yes. Okay.
So I'm not sure if they're going to keep it focusing on this other character, or if they're going to switch off and change to the perspective of the first main character.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I know shows have done that before.
Yeah.
Kind
of like
keep you on your toes.
Yeah. 'Cause like, so Vinland Saga is a saga. So it's like it's like if I remember correctly, it's like the entire lifespan of like this one character's life. So like there's quite a bit of it.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they did do a little like, okay, we're gonna have this character watching the main character and things like that. Because like it's not super uncommon in like things like this.
Right.
So oh well, if they do keep it, I'll probably still watch it because the first season of Vinland Saga is really good. You happen to be playing a lot of Viking related video games recently.
I know. I might like Vinland Saga.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I wouldn't
it.
mind watching the first season with you again.
I have to do that.
'Cause,
another thing to watch.
Yeah. Let's see. Our silly little show, Suddenly Egyptian Gods.
Yes, and
Season 2.
Season 2. Once again, Season 2, which is honestly kind of surprising to me.
It is so surprising.
It's so surprising. Like, it makes me wonder how popular this got.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like,
it didn't even. Because it still has, actually, you finish your thought. I'm going to look something up.
So basically, what Suddenly Egyptian Gods... Oh, I think you left it in the room.
Oh, okay.
What Suddenly Egyptian Gods is about is a group of Egyptian gods, like the actual Egyptian gods, and they are just silly little guys, and they do things, and they kind of animate what these Egyptian gods actually are like known to do. Like they have it's Anubis, right? Weighing the souls of the spirits, but it's like on a teeter-totter, so it's really cutesy. It's a chibi anime, which means that they're only like 5 minutes long. And the reason it is, to me, surprising that it got renewed is because it seems like a lot of chibi animes do not get season 2s. Because they're like, kind of like little throwaway things. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like the simplest plots, only 5 minutes long, everybody's just being silly. Like, there's not a lot that happens. You know what I mean? Like, not really. But yeah.
Yes, so this is not popular at all.
Which is so
Season
silly.
1, on my anime list, Season 1, 6,000 people have watched it.
Right. That's not a lot.
Only 6,000.
Yeah.
You want to know how many have watched Season 2 so far?
Huh?
1,000! That's like crazy.
That's just so crazy because a show like that should not have gotten a season.
No!
2. It shouldn't have. With such a low following, like I said, it is just chibi. It's not like...
They're 5-minute episodes.
But we are glad it is here.
Okay, you know what I'm curious about, actually? I'm curious if it airs on, like, children's television in Japan.
Most chibi
so that like,
and it's definitely very child friendly. Like it's
that might be why like not a lot of people on my anime list have like booked it, but like maybe it's really popular in ages like 10 and under. Right.
Yeah. It definitely could be. It's just a silly little show with the Egyptian gods doing random things. Like, it has of course I'm gonna forget all their names.
Yeah, of course.
But like all of the Egyptian gods, Sobek, Setet, Ra.
Yeah.
Like, they're all there.
It's really funny because they all each have like really stereotypical like personalities. Mm-hmm. And like it's funny seeing them interact. Like Ra is like a middle-aged man.
He's their dad.
Like, yeah,
he's their dad.
And he like rambles on and things like
and nobody listens to him, but he still keeps talking.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah.
And then there's like feuds between them and like it's funny. It's cute.
It's very cute. They like make mummies to de-stress.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, would recommend if you just want something silly.
Yeah. It's a nice just like, I just want to watch something for a couple minutes. Mm-hmm. And lastly, for me, probably the highlight of the season.
The highlight.
Trigun Stampede.
Trigun Stampede. Yes.
So this is a reboot of the original Trigun show. Mm-hmm. It's okay.
Yeah, which we talked about because we essentially binged the original Trigun whenever we got COVID.
Yes, we watched it whenever we got COVID.
Which we did talk about. It was my first time watching the original Trigun.
Yes.
And I got really into it. It's a good show, the original.
Mm-hmm. I think it came out in like 98?
7, maybe?
In the 90s.
In the 90s. Now, with the reboot?
Reboot.
Call it a reboot? Okay. With the reboot. Studio Orange, so CG.
Yes.
Right?
But CG good.
Yes.
CG good because
CG
Studio
good.
Orange.
CG good. To me, some things are still a little uncanny,
mm-hmm.
but overall, it looks great.
Yes.
Overall, you get some really big wow moments.
Studio Orange knows how to use CG to its fullest.
Yes.
And they really do show that.
They really do show that. It looks, for the most part, great. I'm saying for the most part.
All the action scenes are good.
All the action scenes are great. The settings are good. Just sometimes whenever it's just characters, I don't know, I get a little like...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like
they look best. They look
like,
best in motion.
They look best in motion,
yeah.
Now, with what it is as a reboot.
Yes.
With what it is as a reboot. Vash. Very good.
Yes.
Vash, very good. Very still true to character.
Yes.
With who the original Vash was, which is that he is still a silly, skinny man.
Crybaby.
Who is a crybaby. Who is a pacifist.
Yes.
But an incredible fighter, gunman, but still very silly, goofy.
Mm-hmm.
And charming and all that stuff, right? Meryl.
Baby. They babyfied her.
They babyfied her. So in the original Trigun, Meryl is like a woman, like a businesswoman.
Yeah,
like
she's a girl boss.
She's a girl boss. She like commands. She is small. She's short. That's true. But she's very much. Hi, I'm Meryl Strife, and I'm here with the insurance company. Like she's very much like, I'll put together.
She's assertive.
Yeah, like, very much put together assertive woman. But in this reboot, she is a rookie journalist.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know how to fight.
Yeah.
Or how to shoot a gun.
She does. She's never shot a gun before.
Or how to shoot a gun.
What?
So.
How do you have a Trigun setting with a character that have never shot a gun before?
Yeah. So that's upsetting to me.
It is really upsetting.
It's upsetting to me. So, yeah. I just keep on every single time that Meryl does anything. I'm like, it should be different.
Yeah.
It should be different. Okay. Roberto De Niro.
The elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room.
Roberto De Niro.
He is, okay, first of all, as a character, he's very average.
Yeah.
He's very average.
He barely does anything.
He's just there to, like, be someone that Meryl is the rookie to.
Yeah.
Like, he's there. He's supposed to be, like, her teacher, but we haven't really gotten any character.
Except that he's an alcoholic. And kind of bad at his job.
Yeah, he's an alcoholic and he's kind of bad at his job. But, like, whatever. Like, we haven't gotten any sort of other character notions. We don't know anything else about Roberto De Niro. And we can't look back on our context because Roberto De Niro is a completely new character.
Yes. Which replaced an even better character.
An even better character of Millie.
Millie was such a good character.
Millie is such a good character. So in the original, it is Meryl and Millie, the two insurance ladies. And Millie, if anything, is kind of Meryl's rookie.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like, Meryl is still, like, the boss of the situation. But Millie is, like, this giant woman who has this huge gun. But she is, like, has the softest heart.
And she's ditzy.
And she's so sweet. But she's not here. And it's so sad. It's, like, so sad.
And Wolfwood has yet to be seen.
Yet to be seen, so we're not going to say anything about that yet. Yeah. Plot.
Okay, so like, they must have a 24 episode limit or something like that.
Things are moving
fast.
Things are moving very fast,
but also slow. Because in the original Trigun, for the most part, they're in a new city every episode.
Yes.
New city, new situation every single episode.
Yes. New people,
new people never seen before, but they all have this idea of Vash the Stampede as this humanoid typhoon.
Yeah, as a bad guy.
So far, we are on the 3rd episode. They have been to one town.
They've been in the same city.
And they've
tried to leave it and then they've come back to it. Like, they haven't actually left the city.
The plot has been moving towards them instead of them moving towards the plot.
Right. So it gives it less of an adventure feel.
Yeah.
Is a big thing. Because Trigun was very much like a Western adventure.
Yeah.
Where, he was like, oh, my work here is done. And then
right.
he'd,
they were wanderers.
Leave. Yeah, and then he'd leave and they were wanderers. Yeah.
Because his whole thing is that he couldn't stay in one place too long.
Because then he'd get caught.
Yeah. What was it? Go ahead.
So, in that sense, it's moving kind of slow.
Yeah.
But then, how it's moving fast. So, and this is a little bit more of, if you've seen the original, you can kind of see why this is, what I'm about to say is considered moving fast. But in the original, I remember very distinctly watching the first episode of Trigun and not actually learning anything about Vash.
Yeah.
So in the first episode of the original Trigun, it's almost like Vash is caught. So Vash is caught, right? And he's escaping. He's trying to escape his captors. And it's him kind of just being like a silent badass. Like, you don't get any of that, goofy personality in the first episode.
Yeah, in the first episode, he's just, at a bar. And then the bar, gets fucked up.
Yeah, and he's just there, and he's, he's still pacifist, so he's not killing anybody, but he's like dodging bullets and like creating commotion. So you don't really get his personality until a little bit later, and then and that's like, and it just like builds from there, right?
Yeah.
So in this first episode, or in this first couple of episodes of the reboot, obviously we've gotten to know who Vash is very well, it feels like already. And there are some like characters that are from the original that have already shown up.
Yeah. The main villain is already here.
So a big part of the original Trigun is that you didn't really even know who your main villain was until like halfway through it.
Yeah.
Because like...
You didn't even really see him until the end.
No, you don't even see the main villain until the end of Trigun. The main villain is his brother. I can say that because it's not a spoiler.
Yeah, it was like a big plot point in the first one.
Yeah, like it was a big plot point, big spoiler in the original that the main villain is his brother. Because it's all very vague up until about halfway where you're like, oh, this knives guy. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, oh, it was my brother. Like, we were twins. We were on a space. Like, this whole, like, lore dump happens towards the end of the original Trigun. But it has already happened at the beginning of this one. Which, maybe, like I said, it seems like they just don't have as many episodes, which is totally possible. So, because they don't have as many episodes, they have to storyboard, like, a different way to put this story together. They can't just have this, like, wandering, mysterious figure. They have to go ahead and give him his backstory. Yeah. So.
The weirdest... Okay, this is, like, such a, like, small, kind of nitpicky thing. Like, the weirdest thing for me, and that I think is the biggest difference between the reboot and the original, is that the first town that they go to, or the only town that they go to, everyone loves Vash. Yes. Everyone loves him. They already know him. They already know him as the savior of the town. Right. And they're like, yeah, Vash. While in the original, he'd go somewhere and everyone would hide.
Everyone was scared of him. Yeah. Because he has the reputation of being a destroyer, essentially. Yeah. Like, trouble follows him,
Yeah. And so it's a different mood.
It's a totally different mood. But then we get to the end of these 3 episodes that we've already watched, and things have happened. The town is no more. Yeah. A lot of people died at the end of this 3rd episode, and now those townspeople like hate him. Yeah. Right. So, which is all of these vibes and feelings give off, like, this is a reboot. I know it's a reboot, but it still is like trying to give off this, to me, this mood of like a prequel. Yeah. But it's not a prequel. It is absolutely not a prequel. Like, it's not a prequel. This is a reboot, a retelling of a story, but some things just seem out of order.
Another thing that is, this another thing that's like, oh, it doesn't really matter, but like, because it happened in the first one, it just made more sense. So like, the whole idea that the thing that gave Vash his like, what's the word? His reputation was the July incident. Right. And so the July incident was where Vash single-handedly eviscerated an entire town.
Yes, he did.
And it was his fault.
It was.
And that's a big thing for me, because this town that he's in just got completely destroyed, but it wasn't his fault.
But it wasn't his fault, and it also wasn't the city of July. It wasn't July. They are going to the city of July. Yeah. Which, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Right. Because the July incident is like a really big part of the of Vash's backstory.
Yeah. So we'll see.
We'll see. This town gets a little.
Yeah. I mean, it's still good for what it is. I just like the original more.
So far, same. Yeah. But the action is cool. So the action is cool. The I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. What was it? Oh, I mean, I'm not gonna drop it.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. You'll hear more. From us later about.
And I think that's about it for today.
Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Konich-Yeehaw podcast. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Jared.
And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.